Fizban's Treasury of Dragons came out a few months back, and honestly, I wasn't very excited for it. I've always thought that dragons are one of the least interesting creatures in the game, and wish that we get more aberrations or fae or something like that. However, when I finally got my copy of this book and flipped through it, I was surprised to find a handful of super interesting creatures. Sadly, there was a significant lack of kobolds in this book, which is tragic, but I guess not everything can be perfect. So without further ado, here are my favorite monsters from Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. First off, we have the Animated Breath, a CR6 elemental. These creatures are created by dragons that have learned how to tap into the elemental plane, and they are typically used to defend the dragon's hoard, or to go out and seek new treasure to add to the collection. The main interesting part of this creature is that it has a handful of different abilities based on what type of dragon's breath it was created from, such as a damaging fire aura from the fire breath, a putrid aura that poisons nearby enemies from the acid and poison breaths, or a teleportation electricity bomb if it is from a lightning breath. This lets you have up to 3 of these in a fight, with each one seeming unique, and overall they add a lot of versatility to your arsenal of enemies to throw at the party. For a quest for this creature, I had the idea of a rift into the elemental plane ripping open for a short portion of time, maybe because of a villain doing something, or because the players did something crazy and destabilized the region, up to you. And while the rift was open, an animated breath snuck through. The party has to hunt down the breath and stop it before it kills a bunch of townsfolk, and once the party starts the fight, they learn the unique thing about this animated breath. Since it wasn't made by a dragon, it instead has all of the chromatic forms and rotates which one it has active at the end of every round. This keeps the players on their toes, as they have to keep adapting to the new strategy that the creature starts to use, and overall this should be a fun fight. The next creature that I'm going to talk about today is the Draconic Shard, and this undead creature is CR 17. When a gemstone dragon dies, they sometimes leave a shadow of themselves imprinted into the world in the form of a Draconic Shard. The shard is able to inhabit nearby items such as a magical sword or something important from the hoard the dragon had when it was still alive. While inhabiting a weapon, the shard can cause the weapon to fly, speak either verbally or telepathically, cast spells, and use its legendary actions. If a creature is wielding the weapon the shard is inhabiting, then they gain resistance to psychic damage and also deal additional force damage when attacking. You can probably already see where the quest for this creature is going, so the heroes come across a cool magic sword that has a gem embedded in it, and the Draconic Shard begins to talk to the players and generally act like it's just your typical sentient weapon. Over time, the shard slowly deceives the party into completing its own objectives. Maybe such as slowly getting parts that it would need to rebuild its original body and take physical form once more. The 2 possible end results for this are 1. The shard succeeds, and now the party has to fight a gemstone dragon and stop it while knowing that they were the reason that it came back to life, or 2. They catch on to the shard's deceptions, and now they have a cool fight with the shard. Either way, it's a fairly cool creature to add into your games. Next up, we have a CR5 Ooze creature, which is the Dragonblood Ooze. Overall, I just really like Ooze creatures. I think that they have a very cool design and are extremely versatile in where you can add them into your games, because nobody questions there being a gelatinous ooze in the dungeon. So you can just throw them into any adventure if you ever don't know what you want to put into a room. Now, the thing that makes the Dragonblood Ooze different from all of the other ones in the game is that it has the Slime Breath ability, which functions similarly to a miniature dragon breath that deals acid damage. However, if the creatures fail their saving throws, then they are also pulled in closer to the ooze itself. My quest idea for this creature is that there's an alchemist shop in the town where a dragon was recently killed. The alchemist who owns the store was able to get some of the blood of the dragon, and was up late one night experimenting on it, when it ended up becoming alive and turning into the Dragonblood Ooze. It breaks out of its containment and starts killing people around the store, and potentially breaking out other experiments trapped inside. Now the party has to stop the Dragonblood Ooze and the other experiments before they can get out of the building and kill the town. If you want to tie this into the rest of your campaign, You can have it where one of the villains actually broke this ooze out of its containment in order to cause a distraction big enough for them to commit some other crime somewhere in the city without the party or the guards noticing. We've got a construct for the creature this time with the CR11 Dragonbone Golem. The basic gist of the lore for this creature is that someone found a dead dragon, took their bones, and animated them into a golem creature. The Dragonbone Golem has a few different interesting abilities, the first of which is its Fear Aura, which functions similarly to the other Fear Auras in the game, with creatures nearby needing to make a Wisdom saving throw every round to prevent becoming frightened. The real interesting ability that the Golem has, though, is the Pinions. It functions similarly to other melee attacks. However, if it hits the enemy and the target is a medium or smaller creature, the target is now pinned to the ground and restrained. This can completely change the dynamic of the combat when the wizard gets stabbed into the ground, and the golem just stands there trying to crush the wizard's skull while he's trapped there. The last notable ability here is the Petrifying Breath, which is a standard poison breath weapon, except that if the targets fail their saving throws they become restrained, and if they fail to save again next turn then they are petrified. My first idea for a potential quest involving the Dragonbone Golem is set in a museum, where the party is hired to investigate a series of disappearances. It starts off like a classic mystery adventure, with the party meeting the potential suspects and finding dead bodies, except the dead bodies all look like they were attacked by an extremely large weapon. Then one day when they go into the building to investigate, they notice that the dragon skeleton on display seems to be in a slightly different pose than last night, as if it was moved or something. At this point, the party either catches on to the fact that the dragon skeleton itself is the killer, and then you've got a big fight happening in the museum and that's really fun, or the party doesn't notice it, and then at this point you should have it start to stalk and hunt them down in the museum, trying to split them up and kill them whenever it gets the chance. We finally have an aberration up next with the Elder Brain Dragon, a CR22 creature that is created when a dragon has been converted into the Elder Brain of a Mind Flayer colony. I mostly just love the art and design of this creature, though it does have one pretty cool ability, which is that its breath weapon is actually shooting a bunch of tadpoles out in a line. Anyone who fails their saving throw is now infested with Mind Flayer tadpoles in addition to the psychic damage they've already taken. Now they take psychic damage at the start of each of their turns until they're cured, and if the character ever drops to 0 hit points, then they start to be converted into a Mind Flayer. My quest idea for this creature is less of a quest idea and more of just a plot point to add into your already existing quests. So step 1 is to have there be a dragon terrorizing the players early on in the campaign, and make sure to make the players absolutely hate this dragon with a passion. However, they're still too low level to deal with it at the time, and by the time they start leveling up, it's kinda moved into the background, so they don't kill it yet. Then step 2 is to have the players be dealing with a Mind Flayer cult in the local town. But then the Mind Flayers turn their attention to the dragon, and they kill and transform it into this horrific beast. The party will be angry about the Mind Flayers stealing their kill, and also now they have to contend with this new monster controlling its body. The next creature is the Eyedrake, a CR8 large aberration. This thing is basically a combo between a dragon and a beholder. And it's created when a beholder and a dragon are fighting for a very long time, and then the beholder keeps thinking about the dragon even in its dreams until it eventually spawns an Eyedrake. The Eyedrake then goes off and acts similarly to a dragon, trying to make a hoard of treasure and conquer territory and such. Ability-wise, it has eye rays similar to the beholder, however it also has the breath weapon like a dragon, and its breath weapon also shuts down low-level spells in addition to all of the damage that it deals. These things all combine to make this into a fairly serious threat to the players if they don't deal with it correctly. For my quest for the Eyedrake, I'd have it seem like it's initially 2 separate quests when I first introduce it to the players. They hear tales of a beholder attacking the city, in addition to hearing stories of dragon attacks. The party chooses which one they want to pursue, tracks down the lair of the beast, and goes there only to learn that it's the same location as the other lair, and that it's actually only one creature that's been attacking the city. At this point, it's mostly just your typical dungeon crawl of delving through the lair and making their way towards the boss fight and all of the treasure. Maybe throw some kobold servants in there to make the party's life hell or something? I don't know, it's up to you. The second to last creature on this list is known as the Hollow Dragon. This undead is a CR 18 creature that is created when a metallic dragon is so dedicated to a purpose that it reanimates with radiant energy to continue pursuing this goal even after death. After this point, if the Hollow Dragon ever dies, then it breaks into 9 different pieces, and if all of the pieces are within 6 miles of each other after 1d6 days, then they all teleport back to the head and rebuild themselves into a functional Hollow Dragon once again. Its breath weapon deals radiant damage. However, that's not as interesting as its next ability, which is Sapping Presence. It takes an action to use, but every creature within 60 feet of the Hollow Dragon needs to make a Wisdom saving throw or have its speed halved and gain disadvantage on all attacks for the next round. I think this would be a pretty cool creature to use as the big bad of the campaign, and their purpose is to kill one of the archdevils or something. However, in order to do that, it is destroying a significant portion of the continent, so the party has to stop it. Every time the Hollow Dragon dies, it will probably just come back again until the party catches on to its trick, which means you'll get at least 2 big boss fights with it. This means that you can have the Hollow Dragon appear a bunch of times without as much fear of the party killing it early and leading to a disappointing ending, because it can just come back again without a problem. The last creatures on this list are the Metallic Peacekeeper and the Metallic Warbler. These are CR4 and CR1/4 constructs respectively, and they are guardians created by metallic dragons. They are completely immune to any spells that alter their form, and also have telepathic bonds back to their master, allowing for extremely fast communication. The last of their main abilities is a Calming Mist attack, which forces people to make charisma saves or be incapacitated and have their speed reduced to 0. My quest idea for this one is where there's a dragon controlling a region of the kingdom, terrorizing the local villages and stealing money from them. However, the dragon has built a massive hospital in the region that can heal almost every single issue with ease. This hospital is manned by these peacekeepers and warblers, and the main idea is that the party will have to decide what they want to do here. Whether they just want to try to convince the dragon to be more peaceful, kill the dragon and try to convince the peacekeepers to keep the hospital running, or maybe just burn it all down because they fear the peacekeepers and the dragon have a more sinister plan. So, that's been a list of my favorite monsters from Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, and I've got a few more videos similar to this on the way over the upcoming weeks, so don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss those when they release. Anyway, don't forget, when in doubt, throw an owlbear at the party.